South of Uniontown, Pennsylvania, on the outskirts of a residential neighborhood, an old log building can be found that is beyond disrepair. The logs have lost their chinking, vines have taken over the walls, and the windows have long been gone. Its current state, though, does not represent its historical importance. Although it may not look like it, this building, known locally as Fort Gaddis, once played a significant role in the development of the southwestern Pennsylvania frontier. Back when western Pennsylvania was the edge of the known world, a man named Thomas Gaddis set out from Winchester, Virginia with his family to build a home on a piece of land he called 100 Acre Spring. The date of their arrival is not recorded, and the exact construction date of the log home they built is not known, but records suggest that the cabin was put up soon after Thomas Gaddis warranted the land in 1758. Even though the dates remain uncertain, this log building is thought to be the oldest building in Fayette County. As southwestern Pennsylvania was on the fringes of the western frontier at this time, few records exist documenting the Gaddis family's early years in the house and farming on the 100-acre spring warrant. It is known that Thomas Gaddis was a captain in the Committee of Safety of Virginia in 1776, the year America declared independence from Britain. He rose through the ranks to become a county lieutenant of the militia, and he was voted third in command under Colonel William Crawford's expedition to Sandusky, Ohio. Thomas Gaddis's home has been dubbed Fort Gaddis because it is thought to have been used as a place of safety and gathering for local soldiers during the Revolutionary War. However, archaeological investigation on the property in the 1970s found that more likely the house was used for community gatherings and as shelter for local settlers during American Indian raids during this frontier period. After the war, Thomas Gaddis was a prominent local farmer and became an influential figure in the local area as he served on the first Fayette County grand jury in 1783 and was elected as a county commissioner in 1787 and 1788. Gaddis was also a prominent leader during the Whiskey Rebellion, and in 1794 a liberty pole was raised on his property as a form of protest against the tax. This picture represents an example of what a liberty pole looked like. Gaddis and his wife Hannah also joined the Great Bethel Baptist Church in Uniontown and helped build its first church before he was excommunicated over a disagreement. The Gaddis family lived on 100 Acre Spring for more than 20 years after the end of the Whiskey Rebellion, moving to Clinton County, Ohio in 1816. At this time, the house was bought by John Miller and John Kennedy, who only owned the property for 4 years, with little documentation if or how they used it. The house was sold again in 1820 to Basil Brownfield. Brownfield was also a key figure in Fayette County history. As a farmer and a businessman, Brownfield was said to have taken an interest in local history and was believed to be a reliable source for oral history in the area. He contributed to stories about the house being used as a fort. One of his stories even included Daniel Boone. Brownfield lived at and farmed the Fort Gaddis land until his death in 1881. Several additions were made to the house to accommodate the family. After his death, the house remained in the Brownfield family for the next 150 years. This map shows the surrounding area from 1840. Brownfield's name can be seen in the area where the house remains today. This map from 1872 shows how the area developed over time with Brownfield in the same spot. In this 1909 photograph, Brownfield's grandson, who is named after him, can be seen standing in front of the house. You can see that the original frontier log cabin has been significantly extended. Around this time, the Brownfield family and the Daughters of the American Revolution had begun to work together to remove these additions to restore the house to its original look. The Daughters of the American Revolution held meetings at the house and later erected a commemorative plaque. The fort was also recognized nationally and recorded in 1939 by the Historic American Buildings Survey. Fort Gaddis stood in remembrance to early Fayette County frontier history for the next 60 years. In 1973, Anna Brownfield sold the property to Donald Schoaf Jr., a lifetime resident of Fayette County. Under Schoaf's ownership, the site was added to the National Register of Historic Places, and he made several attempts to restore the property by securing federal and state grants, but was not successful preserving the site at the time. Donald Schoaf also supported extensive archaeological excavation on the property by California University of Pennsylvania at this time. Finally, in 1975, after he had moved away from the area, he sold the property to Lawrence and Margaret Henkel. Fort Gaddis remained unoccupied in the woods through the end of the 20th century. In 1989, the Historic American Building Survey updated the property's history, and local citizens and groups continued to sporadically attempt preservation, but the property sat idle. In 1992, the fort was sold and changed hands again in 1994. Although the importance of Fort Gaddis to the history of southwestern Pennsylvania and Fayette County is well known, the fort today remains in ruin and is in danger of being lost forever unless renewed preservation efforts can succeed.